Hello and welcome to Dialogue. I'm Yang Rui from Beijing. The efforts that ensure the blue skies and clean air during the APEC meeting in Beijing have been much in discussion. In terms of sustainable development, it's clear that Chinese cities are still searching for solutions to address the growing pains of urbanization. How can public transport help promote China's sustainable growth? How can the rapid expansion of the transport system be balanced with security needs? What lessons can we draw from the Hong Kong model for financing transport infrastructure? Today I'm happy to be joined here by Mr. Yimin, China CEO of the MTR Corporation. But before we get started, let's look at this.
Jamming traffic, hazardous smog, severe water shortage, and crowded subways. The city of Beijing is expanding too much beyond its real capability. Over 21 million permanent resident population are living in this city, along with the other 8 million floating population pursuing their dreams here. These people are producing over 18,000 tons of garbage every day. If we use 2.5-ton trucks to load all the garbage, the trucks will be lining up in a queue that is 50 kilometers long. The 30 million people are consuming 3.6 billion cubic meters water each year, far more than the 2.1 billion cubic meters locally available. And in 2013, Beijing's average PM2.5 index exceeded the new national standard for fine air by 156%. In response, cities like Beijing are stepping up efforts to expand their public transportation systems, in particular their subways. Beijing's subway network is the world's largest at 465 kilometers, with plans to expand to 1,000 kilometers by 2020. The network's daily patronage will also double from 11 million to 22 million. There are now 19 Chinese cities expanding their subway networks and 19 other cities building their first metro lines. Last year in China, 95.5 meters of metro lines were being built every 20 minutes. Across the country, urban passengers were commuting on metro lines totaling over 2,500 kilometers long. By the year 2020, the total length of China's metro lines will have tripled to over 7,000 kilometers.
Welcome to Dialogue, sir. People here in China are increasingly concerned as to when the hazardous smog will return to Beijing. And in the case of Beijing, I'm afraid, do we have to ensure blue skies by turning off central heating, halting the express deliveries, or shutting down factories, so on and so forth? What should we do to guarantee the blue skies that we are hungry for?
Actually, if you see the blue sky, everybody's talking about the blue sky recent days. If we want to keep the blue sky, I think we need to have at least a 5-area transformation to keep the blue sky. First of all, I think the industry transformation from the high emission to low emission. The second one, as you're talking about, the urban transit transformation from one single vehicle take one person to the mass transportation tool. The third area, I believe, is energy transformation. Transformation from the multiple molecules to single molecules. For instance, the gas is the more single molecules, C plus hydrogen. Okay, so coal and fossil oil, all the multiple molecules. Fourth area, I believe, the transformation for the education system. That's people fully aware environment protection. The last one, for sure, we need a whole society transformation from the low carbon, the higher carbon to the low carbon economy. This is what I think we can have the blue sky in future.
Thank you, Yimin, for painting us a very big picture about how to ensure blue sky. But in 2 years' time, G20 will be hosted in China, and people have started to expect the return of a blue sky. But does it mean necessarily that the same number of factories in the neighboring provinces and cities will have to be shut down to also impose the partial car ban, turning off central heating, so on and so forth?
Well, this is only temporary, action to control the blue sky. We need to think how do we transform the industry. For instance, like we take a car as an example. People are talking about car emission only 30% to the air pollution. Actually, if you look at how do we make the car, the metal system, the plastic system, and also the cracking, the oil cracking system, all consume energy. The energy consumption actually is another area here we need to improve in order to have lower emission, not just car, industry, and also another area I would like to see the city planning. We need to have unplanned city planning transform to rational city planning.
But again, this picture is I'm afraid, a little bit too big because in 2 years' time we won't fix the problem very quickly. During the summit of APEC conference, President Xi Jinping and his American counterpart Obama reached an agreement about cutting back on the greenhouse gas emissions. Do you think this is more symbolic than substantial? What about the doability?
Yes, I'm very positive. But the first thing I'm surprised, a little surprised that American is so committed to do it. In the past, compared to the EU countries, America is a little rigid and high emission country anyway. But this time, I believe this is a very good leadership setting. What we said, Obama and President Xi, as a two leadership country in the whole world, set up the tones for the next global climate change meeting.
But I'm afraid President Obama has become a lame duck because even before he returned to the United States, Republicans who control the Congress said no to his signing agreement with President Xi Jinping about the low carbon development by the year 2030. Well, let's put aside the unachievable target for President Obama for a while. The government is capable of creating APEC Blue with short-term administrative measures. How can public transportation figure into long-term fixes for pollution? You have worked for BP China, and you are now the resident representative of MTR. Let's focus on the urban transit system, or the urban rail transit system. Do you think there's a lot more potential to be explored with regard to Beijing?
For sure. Take Beijing as an example. Today, if you talk about the urban transit system in Beijing, the whole Beijing network, the metro network system, takes at least 10 million passengers. This is the biggest in the world, and already, the leader of the world. If you compare to Hong Kong, only 5 million, London, 4 or 5 million, and other cities like Tokyo in Japan, also million level. But only Beijing and Shanghai in future will take lead. We're talking about more than 10 million, 1.3 or 1.2 million. 12 or 13 million, patronage. This is already give us very difficult situation. By doing more urbanization, we need to develop the metro more, debottleneck what we're facing today. If you look at the car running on the street, if we do not develop the metro system like the APEC Blue, this is something we proven we can do it. Assuming if you have more transportation tool, people drive the car less, then we can have more blue skies.
During the APEC conference, there was a tragedy. A woman was crushed to death, getting trapped indoors, and now many blame the partial car ban because during that special period, the public transport was more packed than normal, which indirectly has caused the death of the woman. That's a tragedy indeed for her and her family. Now, do you see a connection here?
First of all, I think this is a tragic incident. This is a wake-up call for everybody here. The wake-up calls for the government, for the metro operators, for the public social functions, everybody here, because we are facing the tremendous challenge today. First of all, as I mentioned, the patronage handling, the passenger handling in Beijing is the biggest in the world. The second thing is, assuming even there's no car bans, I have a number here, can show us in the last 7 years, from 2007 to today, our passenger taking a metro system tripled, 350% increase. However, we need to develop the metro system. The metro system cannot develop one overnight. Also, the blue sky cannot develop or improve one overnight. So we are facing the fast growth of economy, and every single bottleneck we need to deal with. For instance, we have private car into our life, then we suddenly realize the road is the bottleneck. When we have the car driving every day, we suddenly realize the blue sky is another bottleneck. We need to de-bottleneck. And we realize that metro can replace cars underneath of the ground, less emission. We also need to develop the metro system in future.
Yes, indeed, the APEC conference has built up people's expectations about the blue sky. Many here in China are afraid that safety concerns could be easily ignored, if not sacrificed, to guarantee rapid expansion of the urban metro system. Memories still linger of a Shanghai subway crash that injured 270 people when two trains collided in the year 2011. How can safety be ensured?
I think, first of all, let me say something. Metro system is so far the most difficult engineering for the human society. The difficulty is a combination and the integration of nearly all industries, all scientific solutions together. I have to say we are exploring what is the best for the human future. We take the Metro X example. I give you some numbers here. In the past decades, our development on the metro is tremendous. Like Beijing, Shanghai, and other cities, nearly today 40 cities develop metro. We need to manage the safety issue. I think we need to learn every single case. The case from the human error, from equipment improvement, signal improvement, and everything. I can show you that Hong Kong MTR, how we have done in the past 35 years. We involve everybody for the safety issue. I give you a couple of examples here. First of all, we encourage people to report near-miss report, accident or hazard report. Near-miss means when everybody says something is wrong, you are encouraged to report. The second area, I give you another example. We involve everybody, not just the engineer, not just metro company, but also the public. If you're in Hong Kong, you have a mobile phone. There is an app system in mobile phone. Even as a passenger, if you see anything wrong here, you can just tap your phone, report the things back to MTR. Safety is everybody's job. It's not only the operations job or not only the government supervision's job. Everybody's job.
Oh, by the way, MTR should deserve credit for ensuring normal life of Hong Kong residents during the period of Occupy Central movement. Can you share with us very quickly what you have done to protect the free flow of passengers underground instead of pinning hooks on the traffic on the roads, because roads, particularly in the crowded areas, central areas in Hong Kong, have been occupied by the protesters?
Occupy Central, to me, I think, destroys a lot of things here. First of all, destroy the legal system. The second thing is destroy the road transportation. So what we have done, we have to keep the city function. Hong Kong is the international city. It's the top city in the world. We cannot allow passengers or the normal people, no traffic available. That's the disaster for the human being. So MTR has done a great job for the Occupy Central. For instance, we overtime running the system. We have more loaded on the maintenance system, because if the normal time close work, we last maybe 3 hours even until the second morning. Because normally for the metro system, we have to do the maintenance in the midnight. When everybody is asleep, we have to do our job. But this time, not only the overtime running, we have to encourage our staff working long hours, management team, support, safety issues, and all the issues related. We have to guarantee the function, the city function works.
Fortunately, no accidents took place during that period, and the protests are still going on. You are watching Dialogue with Mr. Yi Min, China CEO of the MTR Corporation. We'll be back in a short while. Please stay with us.
Let's meet in Langzhong, Old Town in Sichuan.
New shipping hub in Northeast Asia. Reaching the world from Northeast China. Port of Dandong.
Let's meet in Langzhong, Old Town in Sichuan.
Welcome back, sir. Right after London authorities announced winning the bid to host Olympic Games, there was immediately a series of blasts there. And quite a few years ago in Tokyo, there was the release of a sarin gas that killed and wounded many. We saw the attacks of terrorism. Now, how can we guarantee that the Beijing metro system is free from such horrors? Have you heard the complaints from residents in Beijing about the too much safety checks at the entrance of the subway system? Now, is there any solution?
Well, as a passenger myself, also often take metro system in Beijing, line 1, line 2, etc. I believe I heard many people complain about the security, the long queuing, going to the metro system, slow down the working hours, transportation time. Yes, I have a lot of sympathy. However, if you talk about the safety and the security issue, we have to do it, and also we have to do it in a proactive way rather than reactive. So this is what London, Tokyo, and other areas tell us. I think this is necessary. By alerting the global sort of security system, we increase our awareness and also our operational skill. One thing we need to do is make sure the transportation must be, especially the mass transportation, must be a safety transportation. I give you an example, like London. There is a slogan in London called "Make Metro." London called the Tube. The word is different. Make the Tube and the buses as your private car. What that means, we need to think what is a user-friendly system. But this is only the purpose. Before we doing this, we must correct. We must have very safe transportation tool to guarantee, to make sure people, safe work and safe back.
Let's discuss yet another issue. I mean, the era of 2 yuan subway tickets is coming to an end in Beijing. Officials are planning to raise the ticket prices on Beijing subway and buses after years of having the world's cheapest public transport. Is that one of the major characteristics of a socialist system, because we enjoy heavy governmental subsidies?
Well, let me answer your question this way. I wouldn't call this price raise or increase price, because I call this price rationalization. What that means, actually, if you still recall what happened before our Olympic game 2008, Beijing's metro price used to be from 3 yuan to 5. This is our original price already set up. But after the Olympic game, we have another administrative control. Say we bring the price down to 2 yuan for the whole lines. There is no this kind of price in the world. You take only 2 yuan, you can go through the whole metro system up to 88 kilometers. Answer your question, yes, this is the cheapest. However, I give you another number you can understand immediately. Today, take Beijing as an example. The average metro development cost, only for the metro development, I mean the tunnel plus the train and signaling system, already costs 100 million RMB per kilometers. Okay, this is one cost. The second one, this is a big one. If you're trying to run the metro system, network system like Beijing, at least you have a 10 billion RMB annual cost for the system running. Mainly this is caused by electricity and people cost. Have you thought this way? Normally people have no complaining about you pay 2 yuan for the water, okay, but you complaining for 2 yuan for the metro transportation. Surely we'll talk about the transportation, public transportation is part of the social responsibility. You should have a free.
But don't you think in both cases of a water price rise and subway price rise, public policy hearings should be held to ease any possible social unrest?
That's exactly we need to develop and discuss. First of all, I think for the all public service sector, this water and metro system, even the buses and highway, this is we so-called public service system. Public service system, the service means there is no ultimate standard for the service. People are looking for the higher standard for the service. So this is a very interesting problem among the passenger, government, and also operators. Passengers are looking for the highest standard. The government is looking for less subsidy to the operation or the industry system. The operator looking for the best safety and the best performance. This is contradiction. Okay, to resolve and support the system sustainably developing in future, I think we need to find a way and a solution to help for the human being and the society. MTR in Hong Kong has developed, I think, the best practice in the last 35 years.
You mean Hong Kong is one of the most profitable subway systems in the world, other than Tokyo perhaps. The system has proven highly effective in the densely populated cities. Now, can we draw any inspirations from the role model of Hong Kong to ensure sustainable urban planning?
Sure. The urban planning, this is something I like to see. We need to think transformation from unplanned city function to rational city function. For instance, we need to think why people, travel every day. There is, mobility behavior we need to study. Assuming if you are in your apartment, you don't need to take any transportation to work. Now today you can even order the food or the goods, what you want, deliver to your apartment. Why you need take transportation out? unless you want to leisure or travel meeting friends. Okay, so the city function is another area to support blue sky in future. We need to rational design the city function. Hong Kong is an example. They combine the community, metro system, bus system, everything together. We try to create community rather than the city different functions locate different areas.
Well, can you replicate Hong Kong's experience of the real property model in mainland cities? Because we see in the next few years there will be installation of subway systems in up to 40 cities, and that's rapid expansion of the urban transit system. Can we afford to do that? What about the PPP business model?
Surely we can learn from best practice from Hong Kong Metro, MTR. The typical R+P model is the government allow the metro company running the land. The land has value. When the land build the metro system, normally the land has premium, has the value, increase the value. Then the metro company can use the value to support sustainable development, and also government can enjoy less subsidy to the metro system. So this is what I see is the win-win-win model. Passengers win, and operators win, and the government win. Okay, the Hong Kong model has proven 35 years in the past. However, Hong Kong is a special location. Only 25% land available. People crowded. To compare other cities in China, I would say it's a different. Okay, like Beijing, Shanghai, all different. However, what we can learn from the Hong Kong experience, surely we need to think what is the best way to have a government pay less subsidy to the public transportation, and for the public transportation increase their service standard, user friendly to the passenger. For the passenger, they can pay affordable price to allow the system sustainably development in future. This is something we need to develop in mainland.
Thank you very much, Yimian, for being with us. Beijing's Metro Line 4 is mainland China's first rail transit line financed using a public-private partnership framework. The analysis by Mr. Yimian about so many problems concerning public transport system in Beijing has called into question many other equally more interesting issues. Obviously, we need to bring him back for more discussions about how to improve the urban rail transit system. Until then, goodbye.